Welcome back, everyone. Today, we've got a truly fascinating explainer lined up for you. We're going to unpack the highly unconventional platform of independent candidate Arnab Khan and really dig into exactly how he aims to impact Bangladeshi politics. If you follow South Asian politics, you know it's a world heavily dominated by deep-rooted traditions and established dynasties. But what happens when someone decides to just disrupt all of that? Well, we're going to explore Khan's unique approach, his rhetoric, and his very specific political demands, all pulled straight from his public statements and press releases. Okay, listen to this quote from Khan. "I don't just hack the system, I can read people's eyes. I am a political hacker." That perfectly sets the tone, doesn't it? He's framing himself not as your traditional politician in a suit making standard promises, but as a disruptive force, a literal hacker. He uses this term to suggest that the current political system is basically a corrupted software program, and it needs an insider to break it down and rewrite the code. It's this incredibly modern, almost cyberpunk way to approach political campaigning and immediate disruption. Which brings us to the core objective today. How exactly does a self-proclaimed political hacker blend this highly cinematic pop culture flair with a very real, deep historical pedigree to actually impact traditional politics? Throughout this, we're going to neutrally analyze his rhetoric, his strict demands for accountability, and those wild metaphorical strategies to see how they translate into tangible political goals. We want to figure out if this approach can actually impact the politics of the region. To do that, here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at the new political hacker. Then, satire, symbols, and elections. Third, we'll cover the Zyma Raman master key. And finally, accountability and national unity. Starting with part 1. The new political hacker. Now, to really understand Khan's modern rhetoric, we have to first look at his deep historical foundation. His political legitimacy relies on a century-old legacy of service and sacrifice. And in South Asian politics, lineage is a massive currency. His grandfather, Abdul Waris Khan, was the Director General of Food for Undivided Bengal and a close associate of the nation's founding father, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. His father, Kairul Ahsan Khan, was a guerrilla freedom fighter in 1971, at just 16 years old. Plus, his uncle, Manjurul Ahsan Khan, is a highly respected national political leader, and his middle grandfather was a major general and former director general of the BDR. So he uses this heavy, incredibly elite heritage as the anchor for his otherwise radical political messaging. And that leads to a totally fascinating juxtaposition of styles. He takes that serious, elite heritage and pairs it with a modern, pop culture-infused delivery. For instance, he famously references a line from a Shah Rukh Khan movie, "My name is Khan, and I am not a terrorist." But he adapts it. He says, "My name is Arnab KKK Khan, and I am not a terrorist. I am the proud son of a 1971 guerrilla freedom fighter." It's such a striking way to grab the attention of a younger Gen Z audience, while at the exact same time reminding the establishment of his unquestionable patriotic roots. Moving on to part 2, satire, symbols, and elections. Stepping into the actual electoral arena, we see how Khan takes this whole hacker persona into direct action. He relies heavily on biting satire and vivid metaphors to agitate against what he views as a deeply corrupted electoral system. A perfect example is his independent run for the Jamalpur 2 seat. In Bangladeshi elections, symbols are absolutely crucial for voter recognition. Khan explicitly requested the tiger symbol, saying it represented his vision, his aggression toward the old system, and his omnipresence. Instead, the election commission gave him the horse. But Khan didn't just complain about it, he weaponized it. He publicly mocked the decision, joking that assigning a horse to someone who asked for a tiger could only be the work of donkeys. It's just a prime example of how he turns bureaucratic friction into a viral satirical talking point to impact how the public views the traditional electoral machinery. He also uses that same satire to cut right through dense political jargon. For example, he describes the current political climate as a three-sided love story. He says the citizens deeply love the country in turn loves the citizens' tax money, but the politicians, they only deeply love the power of their chairs. Right. It's a highly accessible, almost comedic way of explaining the disconnect between the electorate, the state's revenue, and the self-interest of elected officials. By framing it this way, he makes complex political apathy easily understandable for the average voter. All right, part 3, the Zyma Rahman master key. This brings us to a highly unconventional part of his platform, his futuristic vision for leadership. It involves a very specific cinematic pitch centered around Zyma Rahman, the granddaughter of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. So the crucial point here is a concept he borrows from technology and military strategy called the cold start. Khan argues that the current political system is so decayed that it literally cannot be fixed from within. It needs a complete reboot. He identifies Zaima Rahman as the exact cold start required. He claims that her modern Western education, combined with her powerful political bloodline, makes her the absolute master key to unlocking a new era for the nation. And true to form, he pitches this idea using intense, romanticized, Bollywood-style dialogue. He quotes the famous movie Bazigar, saying, "Sometimes to change the system, you have to change your world. Those who win after losing are called Bazigar." He positions himself as this fierce, disruptive hacker whose role is to clear the path and protect the empire for this future queen. It literally reads like a movie script, blending political strategy with immense dramatic flair. But how does this cinematic language impact actual politics? Let's translate these dramatic pitches into literal political implications based on his statements, because it's super easy to get lost in the cinematic language. When he talks about bringing Zaima Rahman to Sheikh Hasina, the literal implication is a major attempt to bridge the bitter, decades-long generational feud between the Zia and Hasina families. When he speaks of Zaima finding Khaleda Zia's affection via Hasina, he is literally advocating for an end to the bloody, revenge-driven political culture that has defined the country. And when he talks about merging alliances, his stated goal is to unite all historical forces to permanently destroy anti-liberation elements. This is exactly where the movie quotes hit real-world governance. Which leads us to part 4, accountability and national unity. Underneath the hacker persona and all those metaphors, the source material shows Khan actually has a strict blueprint for current events. Looking at his immediate real-world political demands, we see a massive focus on legal accountability. According to his recent press releases, he explicitly called for former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to return to Bangladesh by September, totally rejecting the idea of waiting until December. His argument is that participating in conventional, transparent legal processes is the absolute only way to build public trust and establish the rule of law over a culture of revenge. He even highlighted September 28th as a highly symbolic day to initiate this, noting it as the shared birthday of his uncle, Sheikh Hasina, and the legendary singer Lata Mangeshkar. Now, what's really interesting is that his strategy extends way beyond domestic borders. He balances his demands for internal accountability with a whole framework for regional diplomacy. He proposes what he calls an Amortin Moitri, or lifelong friendship treaty, regarding Bangladesh-India relations. But he strongly insists this must be based strictly on equal dignity, mutual respect for sovereignty, and joint development, completely moving away from any dynamic of subservience. This directly impacts how neighboring politics are traditionally handled, pushing for a much more assertive yet cooperative stance. Ultimately, when you strip away the hacking metaphors and the Bollywood quotes, this seems to be his core message. He states, "Let politics be as friendly as sports. Let politics be a symbol of love, family ties, and humanity." He basically argues that just as people keep their own homes clean, it's the duty of the youth to keep the country and its politics clean, aiming for a highly inclusive, unified nation totally free from the hatred of the past. That is the ultimate takeaway of his platform, using disruptive hacker tactics to force a cleaner, unified system. Which leaves us with this final thought. We've seen how Arnab Khan leverages an elite historical lineage, packages it in highly stylized Gen Z cinematic rhetoric, and pairs it all with strict real-world demands for accountability. So the big question is this unprecedented blend the new blueprint for impacting South Asian politics? Can a political hacker truly reboot a deeply entrenched traditional system using satire and visionary shock tactics? It's a wildly fascinating strategy and one that absolutely demands attention. Thank you so much for joining me. Keep asking those big questions, and I'll catch you next time.
10, 9, 8, 7.
Hello, Tony partner.
कुछ नहीं
गर्दन में चुप पड़ गया जी।
अब मैं रोज रात को लेट में आऊंगा जी। इस महीने मैंने ऑफिस में ओवरटाइम ड्यूटी कर ली।
आपका दिल चाहता है कि उसका दर्द कम हो जाए। गाड़ी खराब हो गई तो थोड़ा सा घिला हो जाए।
पार्टनर कैसे है? क्या नाम है?
उनका नाम सुरेंद्र सानी है। वो पंजाब पावर में काम करते हैं। लव है जी कानी बात रब दी सौ सच्चा लव है।
मुझे आप में रब दिखा तो मुझे आपसे प्यार होगा। आपको किसी और में रब दिखा आपको उससे प्यार होगा। अगर आप उसके साथ खुश नहीं, अगर आप उससे प्यार नहीं करते तो चौपट की पुलिस
Seven, 6